Good evening and welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing, or should we say it's a Euro thing. We've still got one or two left in us, but we are getting there. We are at the penultimate game, the big one, the final. Robbie and RJ's Italy and England's England. It's going to be a cracking final. Can't wait to unpack it tonight. We do have RJ joining us. He's just having some technical issues, but he will be in soon. But tonight we're going to really unpack that final, talk about how we think it's going to play out, who'll be the big winners, and who'll walk away as runners-up. We're going to look at some of your responses to our question of the week, what you said you thought would happen. We've done some Italy-England combined 11s. That was a little bit of a last-minute decision by the boys, but they're pretty interesting to look at. And we'll also cover some of the transfer news. But while we do wait for RJ to preview the big one, Robbie, what did you make of the semi-finals? Let's start with Italy's semi. Talk us through your thoughts on it.
Yeah, mate, what a roller coaster, huh? I think I needed my cardiologist with me. My heart was up and down quite a bit during that game. Look, man, from what we were talking about last week, we had Tom on the show, and he pretty much caught it as it happened, man. He said that Spain were going to dominate possession, which they did. That was kind of funny because if you would have asked me how to describe the match, I would have said that Italy this tournament have been playing how Spain of old have been playing. A lot of possession, a lot of tight, intricate, small passing. So they kind of went back to their old, 2008 edition of Spain, and they dominated all the position. They had possession, they had all the passing, and we were kind of sitting back a little bit and trying to hit them on the break a little bit. So it was a bit interesting. Look, we held them out, and then we kind of got a bit of a smash and grab goal, which was a nice finish from Chiesa in the end. At that point, I really thought we might had it, over the line, and then good old Morata of all players, the Juventus striker, had to come on and get the equaliser with 10 minutes to go, just to play with our heartstrings a bit. And yeah, it was you, Borgia, that called that we're going to go over the line in penalty shootout. So I have to say, I don't like to watch shootouts very often, even when they're my team anyway. But I sat there and I watched every single shot. After Locatelli missed the first one, I really thought we weren't gonna get there. But I was quite confident in Donnarumma because he's such a really good keeper and he's got a good record at saving penalties. But it was our penalty takers I was worried about. Immobile was off, Verratti was off. There was a few that have been taken off. So once he got that save, and Jorginho was the one that put the last one away. Oh mate, what a sign of relief. I actually thought he might have taken the first one just to break the drought and get us started. But mate, it was a great feeling.
And you know what? I know there's someone else who probably wouldn't mind sharing their thoughts on that penalty shootout. The big man is back with us. RJ, good things, bringing the good vibes. We're going to unpack a game that's good for you. Welcome back, brother. We have missed you.
Thanks very much, boys, and apologies for the delay. It's not like there's been enough going on in the world of RJ, but internet's always a blockbuster at my place, so apologies again for the delay. But on a football front, how good was it from the Azzurri to, despite giving us a few little heart attacks here and there, they brought it home. And I think the way that they've continued to manage this tournament just shows just how far they've come under Mancini. Well done, declared. It's coming Rome. I agree.
We hope.
How are you holding up, RJ? I know you don't have any more hair to lose, my man. But how are you holding up during the penalty shootout? When that first Italian penalty missed, I kind of had half a smirk on my face thinking of you two. How are your nerves during that?
Yeah, I tell you what. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I was more nervous before we got to the shootout than once we got to the shootout, because for me, I had this feeling that as long as we can progress that way, I like that one, KFC Wi-Fi, exactly right. It's bloody hopeless. But in all seriousness, I don't know, there's something about this team and the vibe, the culture they've got, and that squad harmony, even with Chiellini at the start of the shootouts being all jovial and joking around with Alba. There was just that feeling that this team here feels comfortable. Locatelli missed the first one, yes, and it wasn't the best of penalties. But like Rob said, when I could hear him talking about Donnarumma, I just felt a certain level of quiet confidence that this was going to swing in our favour, and lo and behold, it did. So a well-deserved progress to the final. Yes, credit to Spain. They played well. They dominated possession. Italy did have some chances. It could have went either way. At the end of the day, it's tournament football. And on the balance of things, I'm very happy to say that Italy have gotten there on merit. So fingers crossed we go one more.
Yeah, 100%. And I absolutely agree with you about getting there on merit. Let's flip over. We weren't going to delve too deep into the semis, but let's quickly touch on it. England semi. That was another really intriguing game. To me, I felt like Denmark were they were hanging on. They were showing that grit, that determination. But it always felt to me that it was going to be England who won it. There was the penalty then. Controversial penalty decision. I don't know what your thoughts were. I wouldn't call the penalty decision, I wouldn't call it a dive, what Sterling did. To me, there was some contact, a little bit like, and I've mentioned it a billion times, David Luiz at Wolves. There was some contact. Sterling just made an absolute meal of it. And I hate seeing that. I do hate seeing it. But as my man Laurie in the live chat has said, he's not too disappointed in my kit. But if Saka starts, I'm backing England from the get-go. My man Bukayo Saka, he's getting plenty of hate. Lots of Man United fans who can't cope with the fact that he's starting. But if Saka starts, it's coming home. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, what did you guys think of the Sterling decision? Robbie?
Soft penalty for me, mate. I'm not going to say – look, that's all I'm going to say. Soft penalty. And I don't want to see something like that in the final for either team, to be honest. I want the final to be a straight shooter kind of thing. I don't want any controversial decision like that to be, I don't want people to be thinking they got it over the line this way or that way. I just want it to be a nice, clean game. So I don't want any of that in the final, hopefully.
Yeah. Interesting declared. Sterling hitting his leg into someone else's isn't the same contact that gets a penalty. Yeah, look, that was one of the takes that he was going down early. But you know what? The dark arts of football are there. The dark arts of football aren't going anywhere because they don't get punished. So unfortunately,
I didn't like also how quickly, normally the referees are quite quick. When there's a second ball on the field, they stop the play straight away. Everyone's seen that. I actually said to myself, there's two balls on the field. They should be stopping and doing a drop ball here. So they pretty much, it wasn't far off running into the second ball before he got into the box and the penalty situation happened. So, that's another thing I think they should be looking at.
Yeah, I think I think there was the debate about the whole second ball issue, and from what I could see from the rules that they've highlighted, the referee has discretion if he thinks it doesn't interfere with the play. So it's obviously an interpretation question. Then, did the ref think that the Danish defenders were impeded by that second ball? He obviously decided it wasn't. For me, I think it's just one of those things where England probably deserved to get through because they were more proactive with the ball, and Denmark were very brave and courageous, holding on for dear life. That said, I'm not sure. Look, the penalty it was given, it wasn't super controversial in the sense of I can't see why it wasn't it would be given. There was contact, there was the knee bump, there was the hip dive. Would I be salty if that was Italy the one getting knocked out? Of course I would be. But on the flip side, I know that English fans were very quick to come and point out the fact that what about the other call that didn't go their way with the penalty, or the foul that was given to Denmark that supposedly wasn't a foul? So depending on which side of the fence you sit on, you're going to argue about the decision made by the ref. But like you said, Rob, let's just hope that as for the vast majority of the tournament, the referees aren't the talking point. Let the football do the talking, because it's been a great tournament and we don't want to go on about incidents. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on to the big one, thank you to all the guys in the live chat. It's always more fun when you guys are joining in. If you haven't already, and I know most of you guys in the live chat have, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with a friend. We're trying our best to build this thing up. So we've hit 80 subs. We're on that road to 100, little steps. Boys, the big one. Obviously, we know where you two sit. Two proud Italians. We can see Robbie's flag behind him, your scarf behind you. For me, someone's got to make this a little bit more diverse. So I'm going to kind of put myself in the England camp. I've changed my mind. I want it to come home to the greatest league in the world. But I'll let you two go first. RJ, maybe if you just tell us what you think this game comes down to, who the main one or two men are, and what your prediction is.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's good to see that you're backflipping, Scott. No surprises there. You were telling us in the chat that you're going to support Italy and all these great things, but that's okay. You're allowed to change your mind.
I changed my mind.
That's fine. You admitted that. That's fine. We're not going to. I like this one from Concierge of Crime. You're probably going to get us in a bit of trouble there with that Australia controversy comment there. But look, I hope they get the win. Of course. For me, who's going to make the difference, or what does it come down to? It comes down to a couple of things. Firstly, it's about taking advantage of the clutch moments. It's about also the team that's got the greatest amount of courage and the sort of that self-belief and also that concentration, and that connects to those clutch moments. And what I'm hoping from an Azzurri's perspective is that the experience of Bonucci and Chiellini are going to be enough to Marshall and around Di Lorenzo and, of course, Emerson, keep the likes of Kane and Sterling quiet, who've been quite strong for England. And let's face it, and they've also admitted this, and I think Bonucci said it, England will be the faster of the teams, probably the more fitter coming at this stage of the tournament. But sometimes experience has to account for something, and I keep coming back to that squad harmony and what's been built under Mancini. So I'm hoping that experience factor, also the mental strength of the likes of Jorginho in that midfield are going to be enough to help unsettle an England team who are high on confidence, but at the same time, they haven't been here before. So I'm quite keen to see how they handle the big occasion, because they've got the whole country on their back saying it's coming home, it's coming home. If they lose this game, it's going to be quite the downward spiral for them. But again, I think it'll come down to who takes advantage of those clutch moments. And like Concierge have said, Concierge of Crime, shutting down Kane and Sterling.
That's really going to be the key challenge. And you know what? They don't come any more experienced than Chiellini. And I think he's obviously going to need to use all his wit and all his intelligence to really outsmart them, because he's not going to beat their attack for pace. And whether on the other side they play Saka, Sancho, even if Grealish comes in, doesn't matter who it is, they've all got a lot of flair and a lot of pace. So that experience of his is going to be really important. Robbie, do you agree with RJ?
Yeah, man, I think he wrapped that up really good. Like, for me, it said with England, I think their pace is the only thing that worries me the most. And like RJ said, if our whole back line combined can keep them under wraps, I think we've got a very good chance, because the experience, like RJ said, should come in, and hopefully those two boys in the middle, marshal the two wing backs, because Spinazzola's a big loss, obviously, and then even Di Lorenzo, he's been good, but he's had a couple of dodgy parts, instances when he had like Belgium, for instance. They kept going down his side after they found some flaws in his game. Again, for Kane, for England, Kane's going to be their dangerous man. Again, hopefully we can keep him under wraps. But for us, I think we're equally. I think this game's going to be really, really tight, 50-50, man. I think our midfield's better than theirs, especially with Jorginho running the show. I think I'm interested to see how they're going to cope with our quick passes, and I think we will dominate possession in this game. I think they might try and hit us on the break with their pace. So, like I said, in all aspects of this game, I just think it's a 50-50, man. I think both these countries have came from low points and built up to this. Obviously, 2016 Euros, they got knocked out from Iceland. That was a real low point. We didn't qualify from the 2018 World Cup, and both these managers have gone similar in using a lot of youth, and they haven't gone down the traditional route of using big club players only. Like obviously with your England's back in Dales, your Liverpool, your Man United, your Chelsea players. With Italy, it's always dominated by Juventus, Inter, and AC. They've gone and looked elsewhere. Like I'm sure Mancini's used 30 plus players since he's taken over in the last 3 years, and it's nice to see players from Atalanta, Sassuolo, and all clubs across. So, and like I said, I think both both teams have that togetherness, and I honestly think both the best teams in the tournament are in the final, and I really want to see a good game of football.
There was one comment that I wanted to bring up because I think it was a really good point from Costley in the live chat. He said England also has players that have played on the big occasions, and he thinks both teams are comparable in that regard. I mean, when you look at England, Harry Kane, even though he's won no trophies, has played in and lost in a Champions League final. You've got obviously the Chelsea boys that were involved, Chilwell, Mount, Saka's won an FA Cup. So there are definitely.
But you know what? Yeah, I was just going to add to that. Like Rob brought up a good point about the similarity and even costly around the big players on the big occasions. Rob's brought up the whole culture that Southgate's building with England since their low point, similar to how Mancini's done, and both teams on merit have made their way to the final. But I think equally what both teams have shown is that there is some defensive robustness at the back. They're very good at keeping teams scoreless. They've got that strong spine. They've got that dynamism in the midfield. So despite pundits and commentators looking from the outside in thinking Italy's probably the team with a bit more flair and a bit more, proactive nature of playing, I think there are quite a fair few synergies between the two, even between the managers. So it'll be quite interesting for me, as my favourite position, as you know, is in the midfield area. To me, I know I brought up the whole culture clutch moments thing. This is a true point, by the way. I hope it doesn't get to that point, but you know what Twitter's like. For me, it's really interesting to see what that triangle of Barella, Verratti, Jorginho, assuming they start, versus Declan, Calvin Phillips, and that sort of midfield lock horns. If Italy can break those lines and really get at Maguire and Stones, I'm really quite keen to see how they withstand us, because I'm really liking what Chiesa has been bringing. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. For me, I think this is going to be tight. That's one thing I'll put on the table. So even though I am saying I think England will edge it, I'm flipping a coin there. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing a cracking final. I do think this goes to extra time. Declared had an interesting comment in the chat. He said Southgate's downfall might be being too defensive in the final. To me, this Italian team has attacked really well throughout the tournament. The game against Spain was a little bit of an outlier where, Spain did dominate, but you take that away and they've attacked really well. I do feel like sometimes England still play within themselves. So one of my issues is with Harry Kane dropping back so deep. He's got the quality to really punish Italy if he stays in and around that box. And I think staying in and around that box is dependent on the lineup that Gareth Southgate picks. If there's a smattering of creative players in there who are going to provide top quality service, well, I think England can edge it. I would like to see Mason Mount start this game. I think he's got really good creative and physical abilities that could complement Kane. So either way, it's a flip of a coin, but I think Mason Mount could be really key. That's if he plays. One thing with Southgate, you never know what he's going to do. Sterling will be there. Kane will be there. Maguire and Pickford will. But he can play around with the rest of the team. So I'm really not sure. Let's do some predictions, though. Robbie, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first and buy you some time and be a good mate?
Well, you can go for it first, mate.
I am going with England 2-1 in extra time. 1-1 at full time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Robbie?
Look, boys, I'm not going to give a score prediction tonight. I'm just going to say with my heart, I want the Azzurri to win. And I do want this game to finish in the 90 minutes, hopefully. That's what I want.
Interesting. You, RJ, are you going to give us a prediction? Since when do you not give score predictions, Robbie?
Nah,
Where's this new superstition come from?
No, I just want a good game, no controversy, and I would like it to be finished in the 90, man. I don't want to see extra time. I definitely don't want to see penalties for this.
So you're saying that you predict if it goes to extra time, England will win?
No, if it goes extra time, I said last week 1-0 Italy.
Interesting. RJ, before you do your prediction, mate, interesting question from Costley. He's asked, do you think Mount has played at his potential, though? And do you think he'd be an impact? I think he'd be an impact. Do you think he would, though, RJ? You watch more of him than we do.
I watch him quite religiously, like all of our Chelsea players. And what I will say is that Mount is someone there, I think he hasn't quite hit his potential, and that's because of a bit of COVID-induced disruption. But don't get it distracted that I still think he's a positive contributor to the team, and I still think that's why when fit, Southgate will pick him in his starting 11. I hope this is a correct score prediction. But look, for me, he's someone there that he just brings a natural balance and tempo. Like you said, Scott, he brings that technical and physical attributes, but it's what he does with his press. And that's why I actually like Concierge of Crime's comment as well, trying to link in that around Immobile. See, I'm someone that's very critical of Immobile because I know how good he is in Serie A, but as Rob will attest to and we have in our group chat, every time he fails to hold up the ball or his pass is overhit, I'm the first one typing in there, what is this bloke doing? Get him off the pitch, because we can't have someone there that doesn't know how to help our players advance up the field. He just doesn't know how to link properly between Insigne and between Chiesa. What I will say, though, is like Mount, he's someone there that helps to bring that energy and press from the front. And by pressing from the front, you have a better chance of getting into the other opponent's half and winning the ball and scoring a goal. So to Costley's question, Mount hasn't hit his potential. Will he start? I think he will start. And I, from an Italy point of view, I would prefer if he didn't start, because I do think England are a weaker team without him, to be honest.
Yeah, well, boys, one thing we know is it's going to be a cracker. I do think England will be fresher. You know, they played all bar one of their matches at home. There hasn't been a whole lot of travelling, and a busy Wembley. London's buzzing. Like, I just think, and to be honest, I don't care which way this match goes. I'm not emotionally invested into it, but I think that home crowd advantage, as long as they don't concede an early goal, because if they concede an early goal, I think the home crowd can sometimes become a disadvantage. If they score first, it's done to me. That Wembley crowd will get behind them, and it will just buzz there. There's such a vibe at the moment.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've got to. Obviously, I'm a biased Inter Chelsea Italian fan, of course, but there is something special happening with this Mancini squad. That the ability not just to dominate the games throughout the tournament, except for Spain, the fact that they were able to shift their playing style and get over Spain despite being on the back foot for the most part, I think that's going to just even galvanize them that much more. And I think they're actually relishing the opportunity of being the underdog away against England at home. All the pressure is on England, and they might say that they wear it with a badge of honor, but I can see the passion. I can see that energy after the game. You can just tell that this is a team that's here for business. And I reckon that even if England were to score first, there's enough in our tank to get back into it and claw it. And on to my score prediction, I think that Italy will win this in the 90 minutes 2-1.
Interesting. Oh, I want to ask you a question, Robbie, as well. Would you say that the performance against Spain was Italy's one of their worst performances of the tournament, or are there other games that stand out for you? And when I say worse, I'm not saying it was a bad performance. I'm just saying probably a little bit more sluggish, perhaps.
I think our sluggish performance came against Austria, if I'm going to be honest. I think I didn't think we went in there with a big head. I just didn't think we were going to expect what they brought to us. You know, the previous 3 games, we technically had all the ball and we were just passing everyone to death and scoring nice goals. The Austria game came to a bit of a, we've got to step back and adapt a little bit here. So I think that was maybe our sluggish game. Obviously, we had to wait to extra time for that one. Belgium, again, I think they worked straight into our hands. You know, we killed them all game. I think we were dominating of that game. Spain, like I said just before, early on in the show, I said I liked how we adapted. You know, they ended up dominating possession, and we adapted. There was even a 10-minute period that I really liked when we took off Immobile, and we actually played Insigne as a false nine. You know, that's one thing I like about Mancini. He's really good at changing, and he's really versatile like that. So with Southgate and England, I think they're a lot more less one-dimensional than us. I think we can adapt to a situation a lot easier or quicker than them. That's where I think Mancini has it over Southgate. So yeah, I'm more calmer about this England game than I didn't want to play Spain last week, as I said many times. I'm calm on this game. I think it'll be a good game, and I think whoever turns up on the day and, like RJ said, takes the clutch moments will win the game.
And I agree with you on that point tactically. I mean, if I had to have my team managed by either Southgate or Mancini for the biggest game of their career, I would go with Mancini. I feel like tactically he's got an edge. And just like the comment in the live chat said, Italy do know how to adjust their style. And I think they showed that with a gutsy performance against Spain. They've been able to play some razzle-dazzle early in the tournament, but they've also been able to sit back and counter when they needed to as well. RJ, do you have any closing thoughts on the final, mate?
Yeah.
Combined 11s?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to, I think I'm trying to show a bit of a balanced viewpoint here because I have a lot of respect for what Southgate has achieved with this England side and the way that they've played this tournament. And again, both teams have got here on merit. What I will say for the English, and this is a bit of a wrap on the skill and quality that they've got, if the game is going against them, if Italy are in front, I am concerned with the level of depth and quality that England have to come on, because this is it. If it's not going the right way, Southgate will more than likely throw off the shackles and start throwing in the Grealishes of the world on the field. And that's my concern, is if Italy are in front, how will England respond, given that they have, in my opinion, a greater depth of quality to choose upon? And that will be the real test of Italy to see how they withstand that onslaught should they be in front. And that's how I'm actually predicting it to go. So, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be a cracking contest. And as we always like to say, may the best team win.
That's it. Robbie, any closing thoughts, mate?
No, RJ wrapped that up pretty perfect, I think, mate.
Yeah, that's it. We did ask some of our listeners in our question of the week who they thought would take this out. We've had some good contributions in the live chat so far. I've got a couple I wanted to pull up from Twitter here. We had, and he was our guest last week, we had Tom Simpson say it's a good shout. He has England. He thinks England would much rather face Italy than Spain. He doesn't think it'll be an easy game, though. He thinks it'll be end-to-end and go to potentially penalties. So Tom didn't bag a particular team, but he has called extra time and penalties, and he was right last week. Dan, who's at Kings Road Blue, has called England to win the final. They always seem to get out of a tough situation and get a result, even when they don't play well. And they haven't won in years, so there's some inspiration. And then the last one I'll read from here was from our friends over at That Chelsea Pod. They said they've got to back the Three Lions. They faced their first setback against Denmark and passed it well. They still haven't conceded in open play, and they're hoping that the Wembley crowd drives them over the line. But they have acknowledged that Italy will be really tough and gutsy. So he's calling destiny, saying that it's England's destiny to win this one. You got some there, Robbie?
Yeah, mate, got a few here. We've got Glenn Baxter. He's predicted 2-1 to Italy. Hashtag it's going to Rome. We've got Zach Rowe. He said it's coming home, but to Italy. Josh Whitford. He's gone England. Their defense has been the tightest. I think they'll really smother Italy. That said, Mancini will have England's number for tactics up to this point. Like you guys said a few weeks ago, Southgate will have to be brave. He'll have to produce something different and from the status quo. And needs to start Grealish and bring on Foden early in the game. We've got RJ's mum. She just wanted to say, well done, boys, on a great show and providing sensational content. And then we've got Jacko, Italy to win it, being the best side of the comp and have had the harder draw. They deserve to get and go all the way. And two more from my personal Twitter. I've got Monica. She's just gone back in Italy all the way. And Steve, he's gone Italy. It's coming home. And from missing out on the World Cup in Russia to rebuilding a team with a super class manager, this team has been a joy to watch, and I hope they win. Oh, sorry, I do have one more. Josh Abramson. England's defense has been pretty solid, but we have been exposed a few times, as we saw against the Germans, which they should have scored, and once against the Danes. The Italians on the break will be dangerous.
Yeah, there you go. Like I always say, we've got a really knowledgeable listener base. Our man declared in the live chat has scored 1-0 to the Azzurri. I know that Robbie and RJ will hope you're right on that one, mate. Me, I'm not too fast. A little bit of chaos never hurt anybody. We did spend some time putting together some England-Italy combined 11s. I wanted to put them up so you guys can talk through your teams. RJ, hopefully I've done yours right. This is what you told me you wanted up there. Do you want to talk us really quickly through your team?
Yeah, just want to say great job in converting my not so sensational diagram with the nice visuals. So that's great to put a face to a name, as they say. Yeah, look, happy to explain mine. So I've gone with 4-3-3 or 4-2-1-3. And what I've tried to strike a balance is using experience, dynamism, pace, and obviously a bit of class in each position. What might be a bit controversial for some, particularly in the Chelsea base, but I think it could quite work out nicely, is that pivot there with Jorginho and Rice as a conductor. And why I've picked Rice is because I like the fact that he offers that degree of protection, and he's got some strong athleticism to allow Jorginho to get a little bit more forward and play some progressive passes and work nicely with Barella in the middle. Because I think from when you look at both teams, I don't see them being too many better attacking midfielders in that central position. I was quite happy to put Mount in there, but as he does for Chelsea, he's quite effective being in that top left-hand side. But I actually like this team quite a lot, particularly that back four. And of course, I've picked Spinazzola because I thought overall he had the better tournament. Knowing that he's not available, I would have picked Luke Shaw because he's been strong for England. But yeah, I think my team stacks up quite nicely. Keen to see what you guys have got.
Yeah, look, I like your team. I think it's pretty balanced. Yours and Robbie's are pretty similar. I've been the odd one out. But Robbie, talk us through your team.
Yeah, pretty much the same as RJ, man. If with the four, I like that. If I was to go 3, Harry Maguire would have came in if I had a 3 at the back. But yeah, obviously Spinazzola's not there because of the injury. So Luke Shaw's been on fire the whole tournament. Again, me boys, I love my flair and my pace. That's why I've gone Sterling and Chiesa, and I think they're both clutch players as well. They've scored important goals this tournament. I've gone all Italy midfield because I really do think our midfield is better than theirs, and I had to go Kane, man, because compared to Immobile or both our number 9s, he is world class. So also, like I said, Pickford's never getting in over Donnarumma, and I went to our the Italian centre backs as a duo, man. They've got the experience and they play every week at Juventus, so I think that's a big thing as well.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting team. Look, you boys know I like to be different. So I've gone for different formation.
I don't know. Saka was going to be there.
100% because I'm biased. I never claim to be neutral. I've added Maguire in there. I think Maguire, from when he's come back into the England team, he's been brilliant. And I think if you look at those 3 guys at the back, good luck to any team scoring against them. Not the paciest, but plenty of talent there. I also went with Spinazzola. I thought he was probably player of the tournament before his injury. He'd been fantastic. I think him and Walker had a decent amount of pace, good service as well for someone like Harry Kane, and they would just get up and down their flanks all day. I've gone with Jorginho and Barella in the middle. I'm a little bit like you, Robbie. I agree that the Italian midfield is dominant. I've gone with my star boy, Bukayo Saka, up front. I don't feel this kid gets the respect he deserves in a lot of his starts to England, he's walked off with man of the match performances. He's direct, he's pacey, he's got flair, and he's not scared to take a man on. If he starts, he's someone who I think could cause Italy some problems in the final. But likewise, you're going to get that with a Jadon Sancho too. And I think that's...
Like that. I like that team, Borg. I actually think it looks decent. Is there a reason you've got Saka and Sterling in that position, not switched over? Or
I think you could switch both of them. You could switch both of them throughout the game. Like that, they wouldn't be staying in their spots. Saka for Arsenal goes left, right, and Sterling's capable of doing that too. I think that chemistry between Sterling and Kane is important as well.
Very interesting team. Yeah. It's very interesting. I'd say that I do like it. It's quite different, but I suppose what I'd be keen to see if this was to unfold in reality is how they would operate in that middle area, because in essence, if they were to stick true to their playing style, we know Spinazzola is someone that's basically more of a left winger. You'd leave Jorginho would be the one that drops pretty deep. Barella's more of a cam. And of course, Kyle Walker he'd probably be someone that almost has to tuck in to help Jorginho out because Spinazzola's the one going up. So in reality, again, it would be quite interesting to see how that middle area of the field would run, because it's a very top-heavy team. I like it, but...
Walker could drop into a 4 if Spinazzola goes up.
And as well, Saka played left back. So someone like Saka will naturally drop back as well. I was a little bit torn with Barella, to be honest. I was contemplating, Costley's said in the chat, Phillips is one that's hard to overlook. I was thinking about Calvin Phillips or Declan Rice in there too. But I just thought this was something different, something to get us talking and get us thinking. But there's plenty of good players on both teams. Both countries are set up for success, not just in this tournament, but in the long run. So, friend of the pod, RC Bian, Chelsea Fan TV, has said, great discussion this. Phillips is in with a shout, along with Jorginho for DM of the tournament, though. Yeah, look, Phillips has been really good. And I think
it's good shout. Yeah,
so
everybody's been talking about Sterling potentially being a player of a tournament, but that's actually a good point. Whoever wins out of this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to one of the two DMs between both sides, which would be refreshing to see, actually, because, again, we're quite fans of that middle part of the field.
And also, one I wanted to ask you guys about quickly, the young player of the tournament. That's one of the awards that gets given out at the end. I'm thinking Donnarumma could be the man for Donnarumma,
that award. I think Kiesa's made him with a shout, possibly as well, maybe. Saka could be with a shout.
I don't think
Chiellini
enough. Yeah. Benjamin Button, maybe.
Maybe in dog years, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. RJ, what do you think? You think Donnarumma's a shout?
Yeah, I think so. It's just because he's had a couple of clutch moments, but I don't know. I sort of look at that position, and like I'm using Chelsea as a reference point with Mendy. He's been great, but he hasn't been overly worked. And I know Donnarumma at times has, particularly against Spain, but he's been part of a winning machine. So I'm not sure if he's the standout young player of the tournament. So I know I'm trying to take my bias hat off here, but Chiesa's probably a better shout because he's had more clutch moments, particularly in the later stages of the tournament.
Yeah. He was my player from the preview, mate. It says, watch out.
Yeah, that's it. And we'll have to come back to that. Because, RJ, you had the gift in our very first preview, for those that didn't catch it. Go back and have a look. We predicted what we felt the tournament running would be. RJ called an England-Italy final before a ball was kicked. So well done, mate. Applause to you. You called that. Shame you didn't put any cash on it. You should have.
Hopefully that last prediction of Italy winning gets over, mate.
Yeah, good call, man. We've had some good calls on the pod throughout this, so well done. Any final thoughts on Euros, boys, before we jump into some transfers? RJ?
Yeah, just very quick wrap up here. For me, it's been an outstanding tournament from start to finish. Very few officiating controversies. we've had the heartbreak of the Ericsson, which, you know, on one hand was obviously very devastating on a number of levels. However, the way in which the collective football community gathered around, responded, and continued to produce high-quality football, again, makes this, like the Sydney Higuain, the Sydney Caballero maybe. But no, in all seriousness, a fantastic tournament. Hopefully it ends on a climatic way. And, of course, it's got to be for the Azzurri, but we'll see.
Robbie, any final thoughts, mate?
Yeah, and I just mirror that, man. It's been a great tournament, some great goals, some underdog stories, some players coming out of nowhere performing. It's had a bit of everything, twists and turns. So, yeah, I've loved every minute. And like I said, hopefully one more big game for the Azzurri to make it a perfect tournament for us.
Absolutely. Don't worry, mate. I had France winning the tournament as well. So you can see how that worked out for me. Not so well. It's been a blast, boys. I can't wait to see what happens in this final at the friendly time of Monday, 5 a.m. But we're all in lockdown anyway, so plenty of enjoyment. Let's talk about some transfers. Before we do jump into player transfers, something I wanted to get your thoughts on was announced yesterday that Arsenal will be the feature of a new Amazon documentary, another one of those like they did with City and Spurs. To me, I think it's either going to be it's going to be brilliant, or it's going to be absolutely nothing. I'm happy we've done it. It just shows we're scraping for pennies. But goodness me, it kind of reeks a little bit of desperation. And the Arsenal tweet, when they put it out, it said, you asked, we listened. Arsenal all or nothing on Prime. And there were so many funny comments saying, we've asked for so many things and that's what you've listened to. And heaps of fans saying, go and get these players. That's what we asked for, not an Amazon documentary. But yeah, look, to me, I'm pumped to watch it. It gives you that little bit of an insight into your club. But do you guys think it's a bit of a banter point, Robbie?
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a banter. I'll watch it, mate. I like to watch all the footballing documentaries and stuff. So, wait, it can't be as worse as the Spurs one. There should be called Nothing or Nothing. So at least you got something on that.
Someone in the live chat saying it should be called Arsenal, the Dusty Cupboard Chronicles. Mate, we've won more trophies than Man United in the last 5 years. We've won 14 FA Cups. We've got a gold Premier League trophy. We're good in our cupboard for now. Granted, we'd like some more. RJ, sorry?
No, you know what? Oh, sorry, Robbie.
How many trophies have you won in the last 5 years?
More than you.
What, 2 FA Cups? We've won 3 trophies in one season under Mourinho, mate.
What did you win?
We won the League Cup, we won the Europa League, and the Charity Shield. And the year before that, we won
Charity Shield doesn't count. Can't count the Charity Shield. That's a shield, not a cup. Let's save this for a separate pod. We'll do a banter Rob and Scott pod in another week. RJ, sorry, man. Banter?
No, look, it's a little bit of banter. And look, if you want to add some banter to this, I think you would probably name the doco Arsenal all class without the CL on the front. So I think that's what I would call it if it was me running the doc. But look, it's one of those things. All the big clubs and all clubs want to get in on this to try to make a little bit of money, reach out. I like Charity Shield, exactly. But it's just all part of commercial gain and trying to reach your global audience. So it'll be interesting either way. I'll check it out.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, look, it's not something that I asked for. I don't know where the Arsenal social media team got that from. God bless them. They're trying hard. But I am pumped to watch it. Anything that gives me a bit of an insight into my club will be great. God, tell you what, if Arteta gets sacked during the documentary, that could be really. Tell you what, no, but look, I don't think he'll be sacked. That's for another day. Last thing I wanted to mention with Arsenal, transfers officially done. Our first one of the window. We signed Nuno Tavares. I think it's from Benfica.
Who?
Nuno Tavares. You haven't heard of him, mate? You don't watch a lot of Portuguese football, clearly.
Has anyone heard of him?
Well, look, he's come in, like, all jokes aside, he's our backup for Kieran Tierney. He's not going to be our starting left back. But there were times last season when we lost Kieran Tierney, who is susceptible to injury. And we were playing Granit Xhaka at left back at one point, which is insane. So I think having a left back who can come in, not at Tierney's standard, but at least he's a left back, I'm happy. And it didn't chew too much out of the budget. So Nuno Tavares is done. There's rumours that Lokonga from Anderlecht is almost done as well. He's someone who, a little bit like Thomas Partey, provides some physicality and some energy and a good range of passing in the middle. But I don't think he's someone who will be starting. RJ, is there anything that stood out for you on the Chelsea front? I know you guys are still searching for a striker.
Yeah, correct. So obviously there's more commentary on the Haaland front. Depending on who you ask, you will get different speculation. So like I said, some pushing the Haaland camp, some are pushing the Lukaku camp. It's all I know is because of the whole Giroud movement to AC Milan, 2 mil. I like that one. Good one. For me, that signifies that we are in the market 100% going for a striker. It just depends, flip a coin, who we're going to push. For me, I'm quite keen to see if we do go all out and break the bank for Mr. Haaland, or do we try to save a few pennies and look to balance out other areas? Because I know we're quite aggressively pushing in that CM space and CB space as well. But yeah, for me, the fact that we haven't heard too many things that are crystal or concrete signifies a good thing for Chelsea, meaning they're doing all their work behind the scenes. So we'll see. I like that.
Mate, this live chat is banter zone tonight. It's you lot behave. Before we move on and talk about the last couple, again, if you're on here, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with your friends. We are on the road and the grind to 100 subs, and we're trying every week to make it a little bit better for you, the viewer, and you guys do your bit in this live chat. It's a really fun place to be, except when you're getting bantered. Robbie, we spoke about him the other week, Sergio Ramos. Everyone kind of thought it was going to be PSG. In the end, turned out to be PSG. They've made some decent signings in this offseason, picking up Ramos, Donnarumma. Very interesting times. Yeah, Wijnaldum as well. What did you think? Any shocks there? Do you think Ramos will be an instant starter? Do you think he can help bring them that elusive Champions League?
100% he'll go straight in. Probably, like I said, replacing Thiago Silva, who they didn't really replace last year. Oh, they got Hakimi as well, just to add to the list. So who haven't they got is probably a shorter list, man. I think they want that Champions League, like just a City, and they'll try and buy their way to do it if they have to.
Yeah, RJ, your thoughts on that? What PSG are assembling?
Well, like Robbie said, they're spending aggressively. On one hand, I respect the fact that they aren't slowing down and they have a vision and they're going full steam ahead. But on the other hand, I think this isn't a proven winning formula. We know that just because you spend, it doesn't equate to success. You've got to get the balance right. You've got to get the right profile of players. And I know that they lost, and I don't know if they fully appreciated just how important the loss of Tuchel and Silva was going to be. That's why they've probably said they were going to replace Silva with an experienced winner in Sergio Ramos. They have bought a high-quality player in Hakimi, which I'm a very big fan of, and it's a shame because Inter obviously have lost a quality player. Whether or not they've got enough quality in this team, it's not a quality dispute, sorry. It's just, can they do enough to really bridge the gap between the top echelon of town? I do think so, but it's going to be a huge season because they're a team that aspires to win on all fronts. But yeah, very good signings if you're a PSG fan.
Yeah, Robbie, there's been some whispers, nothing concrete about Pogba and his contract. Anything you've heard about that, mate?
Yeah, like I said, man, it's just lingering. I think it's all got to do with the circle with Camavinga. I personally would take both of them and have both in the team. Some people think he comes in, Pogba goes out. Look, I think it's a weird one. He's only got a year left on his contract, so it's rather, we let him go and get some money now, or I guess there's a possibility and crazily possibility of he going for a free next year. I don't know, man. I think the board's going out and trying to buy these players that we're linked to at the moment to try and keep him and keep the project going and push that little bit more for a title challenge. So I'm hoping he stays, extends. I'm hoping Varane comes in, and I'd happily take Camavinga as well.
Yeah, Camavinga is a football manager god for me. We're not in the know. We're not claiming to be Fabrizio Romano's. We're just sharing what we see. RJ, any other rumours or points you wanted to chuck in?
It would be good to hear from someone like Fab. Who knows? But I think for us, Camavinga, top player, being courted by all the big clubs. But I'd just like to add on the Chelsea front as well, another one that's been floating through the rumour mill and someone that I'm very much on board with. I like this. Hey, Stranger Things. We all like that show. You never say never. We'll even throw in Bakayoko possibly. I reckon Tchouameni, he's someone that we should all three get very familiar with, because that player in the French league, he's had a stunning season. He's been on the rise for a while now. And I know that Chelsea have been in the background sort of negotiating with him if Declan Rice doesn't come to the table. So I think he would be a top quality addition to the Premier League, whoever he goes to.
I think Rice is just maybe going to be priced out of a move personally. I think
possibly
80 million or something. West Ham they're not going to give him away. Look, I'm not saying I think Chelsea definitely have the money if they really want him, but I think if anything, he could be priced out of a move, man.
Yeah, look, there's certainly plenty of movement to come still, but I can't believe that the Premier League season is sneaking up on us, isn't it? Not far away. What did you say, Robbie?
No, I think it's like 6 weeks away, man. So it'll be here before we know it.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait. But it's been a fun stream tonight, boys. Been really fun.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. And it's like I said, it was a real shame that I missed out on the last week. And before we close things out, I just want to say on a personal level, I've really appreciated the volume of text, messages, posts, etc. The one thing I do love about our footballing correspondence and all the debates we have is that we've got a close little knit family, including within the IFT community. So thanks to everyone, including these two legends here, Rob and Scott, who've personally helped me deal with a very difficult situation at the moment. But on a more positive note, this has been a fantastic stream. The live chat has really helped pick up my spirits on a personal level. And let's hope, like the Euros has been the whole campaign, that it ends on a dramatic high and we can continue to celebrate what is the beautiful game. So any final thoughts before we close it out, boys?
It's coming home.
It's coming home. Forza Italia. Oh, as Patrick says, come on, you Blues.
I love it. Well, I just want to say to all of our listeners, if you're tuning in via audio, via video, we really appreciate your support and continue to enjoy another week of the beautiful game. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Until then, take care.